Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Pastor Chip from the Capshaw Baptist Church, and Andrew England. He's our media, video artist, techno guy on staff. So we're just doing this video just to do some announcement for our students, and as well, if anybody else is looking for some youth ministry video out there, ideas or whatever, here you go. We're not doing a bunch of takes. If we screw up, we screw up, and we're just going to go through it, and it's probably going to happen many times.
Multiple times.
So let's have fun with it. First thing, what we are all about is of course, Jesus Christ, and so every Wednesday night is kind of our big thing that we do with our student ministry every week. We call it Storyline because we just take them from the storyline of the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation. Andrew and I have been working very close on this with logos and art for every book. He does movie posters. He does different sets. As you can see right now, this is our Kingdom Divided set as we're going through 1 Kings and 2 Kings. And so he does our netmas and stuff like that, our newsletters. Good times. This last Wednesday night, we talked about 2 Kings chapter 1 through 5 with Elijah. Big question is, why does Elijah ascend into heaven with the whirlwind and the chariots of fire coming in on the scene and stuff? And the big reason why God has that happen is to point forward to Christ, as he is the major ascension into heaven, and his ascension is unlike the ascension of Enoch or Elijah. He's ascended not just to heaven, but to the right hand of the Father, where he is ruling and reigning. The right hand, that's right. So a couple Wednesday nights ago, Andrew, we tried to add a creative element that worked really well with Elijah and Mount Carmel. What did we do there?
Yeah, basically we had Elijah and the prophets of Baal kind of competing to find out whose God is real, whose God is the coolest God. And Chip did an awesome job of explaining the whole story and how everything happened. But that morning we kind of got together, and we hadn't planned it out ahead of time as much as we'd like to and as much as we're going to start doing eventually. But we decided, why not do a real altar? We've very carefully invested some money into some nice equipment for our staging and everything. So we have a pretty heavy-duty industrial fogger that we've been using every once in a while during the services. And I was thinking, why not make an insanely huge fire come out of an altar for this story? And it worked out perfect. We went and got the paneling, the hardwood paneling that looks like brick, and we cut it up and made an altar that kind of basically went straight in the center of the stage. And as Chip was talking about the prophets of Baal, we kind of had all the lights go down really dim, just to kind of show the significance of how, Baal wasn't powerful. He wasn't speaking to their prophets. And then as Elijah was mocking them, we kind of had a spotlight on Chip, and it was pretty cool. And so the students could still see him, but it was still really dark, building some tension kind of stuff. And then as he started to talk about Elijah, and when Elijah prepared the altar, it made it pretty much seem impossible that God could light, or that he could light this. And he was just making sure that everybody knew that it was God lighting the altar on fire with the bull and everything. And as Chip went into it and said, Elijah saying, God, show these people that they have turned back to you, kind of thing, then it goes black again. But this time we had our fogger kick on, full blast, and it just kind of billowed up with smoke. And then we had about 3 spotlights, 2 of them kind of light orangish red, and then one in the middle that was more purpley yellow. So it looked like a pretty cool flame, and it was just billowing out. And it was pretty dramatic. It was pretty hilarious. This was about 30% of the students, as soon as it happened, were like, beep, beep, beep. It was pretty funny. It was pretty memorable. That's kind of what we're going for. Memorable.
Yeah, memorable.
Yeah, who cares?
Memory makers.
Memory makers, yes.
They thought about it again. That's kind of what we're going for. Yeah. So that's, we are very faithful to preach the gospel every week, what the gospel has to do with all of these stories, how it fits into the gospel of Jesus Christ, but also we want the memory makers on the set so that the students can see something that they remember, they think through the gospel. It was a huge Wednesday night, man. We had one of our students that was called to be a full-time missionary, Seth, and two other students who really believe that they have been truly saved this past year, so they need to be baptized. And it was awesome. This last week we had a band. We never have bands in, honestly. We love our band. We believe we have the best student ministry band in the freaking nation. That's right, with Jason Cunningham and the band. So, but we brought in a band because we had fall break. They're called Messenger. I have no idea how you find them on the internet, but they're called Messenger. They're out of Nashville. They might be on MySpace, I think. Were they on MySpace?
Probably.
Just Google Messenger out of Nashville. Great band. We loved them. They're trying to make it, so they're looking for some really cool places to play at. They did a great job. They sound a little bit like Skillet and a couple other people, but sometimes, but they're good. They're good. And we talked about, that was about the Ascension. The week before was about Elijah and Mount Carmel. This week, we're looking at Elisha, and when God opens the eyes of Elisha's servants and he sees the chariots and horses of fire, God's army surrounding them to protect them. And we might do some creative elements in there.
We're working on stuff.
We're thinking through that. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Because the most important part is the Word of God. We preach for about 45 minutes here solid. The students sit and listen. They enjoy the Word more so than anything else. They love our worship. And man, it's just incredible what God's doing.
We've been looking into an invisible army and how much it is to rent it, and it's about $40,000. So I don't think that's really quite in our budget right now, but maybe next year, or maybe this is like a 6-year cycle. So maybe next time Chip goes through Storyline, we can actually rent an invisible army. That'd be great. That'd be amazing. Also have a professional magician buddy. Seriously, that he would charge us about $2,000 to make something disappear and reappear. He's good.
His name's Kurt Anderson. Look him up. You'd love him. I think it's magickurt.com or something like that. Something corny. But anyways, so we just did our framework. Our storyline is on Wednesday nights from 6:30 to 8:30. Just a blast. By the way, this last fall break, every church, youth pastors, this is a secret for you. Every church in this area canceled their youth ministry night. And they canceled, we capitalized on it. We told our teenagers this is the one time and one time only that you can invite your friends from other churches to come and be a part of what Jesus is doing here at Capshaw. And we had a ton. We usually have 25 to 30 students show up to play in the gym on a Wednesday night here in fall break from school. This Wednesday night we had well over 100 students. I think we had like 145 people just in our student building over fall break, and God just worked in an incredible way, man. It was awesome. So we do not invite students from other churches to be a part of us any other night, but they were canceled. It's their fault. We brought them in, and it just had a phenomenal night with tons of people worshiping Christ. That's our first step. Our second step is framework. And framework is our small group time. We want our students to come in and to talk about on Sunday mornings during the Sunday school time, to come in and talk about what God did in their lives on Wednesday night. As I preached on 2 Kings 1 through 5 last Wednesday, they talked about 2 Kings 1 through 5 this Sunday morning for their small groups. I was in with the 10th grade girls this week, and it was half awkward, half awesome. Half awkward, half awesome, honestly. Great, phenomenal 10th grade girls. They all love each other. They love their small group leaders as their mentors. And, man, they're just a godly group of girls. You were with the college students. I hadn't even heard yet, really, what happened with the college student small group. We're talking about the same thing because, actually, we put our college students up top in our balcony. If you can see this up here, this is our student building, and we keep our college students up there in our balcony during our Wednesday nights, so on Sunday morning they can be a part of our small group discussions in their own classroom setting. So what happened in small groups on Sunday morning for college, Andrew?
It was pretty cool. We met up. We had about, I would say, mid-20s amount of people. We broke into, I think, 4 different groups. Usually what it is it's not a requirement to be here on Wednesday night for the college, but it helps in the discussions on Sunday morning if you come. So what we do is whoever showed up on Wednesday night and heard the message, we kind of split off, and those are kind of the discussion leaders in the groups, and we split into 4 different groups and just ask questions such as, as Elijah was Elisha's mentor and kind of discipler, what is the role of discipleship in Christianity?